Have you seen this?
La proposition est adoptée à l'unanimité.
Today I'm not gonna talk about the human zoo, which is gonna be the subject of another video, but about the context of this important law. Back in 1892, 33 Kali'na and Arawak people from French Guiana were brought to France by François Lavaux in order to be exhibited at the Jardin d'Acclimatation in Paris. This exhibition formed part of the so-called human zoo. Individuals were confined behind glass enclosures or fences. The living conditions were harsh and several became ill. 8 Kali'na people died shortly after arriving in France. Among them was Pekapé, a pregnant woman who died only weeks after the exhibition began. However, death did not end the process of examination. Indeed, 5 years after the burial, several bodies were examined with the authorization of the prefect to the National Museum of Natural History. Some remains still carried the label gift from the city of Levallois. Molds of certain body parts were also produced for French anthropological collections. At the same time, local authorities justified these transfers in the name of scientific interest. This practice illustrates the colonial anthropological perspective of the 19th century. Today, the demand of restitution represents the culmination of a long memorial struggle led by the descendants of the victims, particularly through the assassination Molecular Pospo, I don't know if I pronounced it good, directed by Corinne Tocqueville. After discovering the story in 2018, she began conducting research in order to identify the deceased and to demand their return to French Guiana. This law follows the adoption of another law in 2023 regarding the restitution of human remains held in public collections. However, this legislation only applied to demand made by foreign states. French lawmakers argued that it was not legally possible to apply the same procedure used of sovereign states to overseas collectivities. Two main difficulties were highlighted. First, the principle of inalienability. Second, overseas collectivities cannot legally be placed on the same level as foreign sovereign states. And third, creating a procedure exclusively for overseas territories could create inequality before the law compared with other French territories. To address these obstacles, a parliamentary memorandum was launched in 2024 to identify overseas human remains held in public collections and determine the most appropriate legislative solution. Unfortunately, this project failed due to excessive government reshuffles in January and February 2024, followed by the dissolution of the National Assembly in June 2024. Faced with these legislative constraints, lawmakers chose to adopt an ad hoc bill. Consequently, the single article of the bill provides for the removal of Kali'na remains from public collections, second, their transfer to French Guiana within 1 year, allowing them to finally receive a burial in accordance with traditional foreigner rights. During the parliamentary debate, several key modifications were introduced. First, the Arawak community was explicitly included in both the title and the body of the text of law. Second, it was clarified that the remains would officially cease to belong to public collections the moment they arrive in their Quebec territory.